strength when I am weak. You are the treasure that I seek. You are my all in all. Seeking you as a precious jewel, Lord, to give up, I'd be a fool. You are my all in all. Jesus, Lamb of God, worthy is your name. Jesus, Lamb of God, worthy is your name. Taking my sin, my cross, my shame, rising again, I bless your name. You are my all in all. When I fall down, you pick me up. When I am dry, you fill my cup. You are my all in all. Jesus, Lamb of God, worthy is your name. 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 Worthy is your name. Worthy is your
Thank you so much for watching this week's Worship Wednesday. I hope you enjoyed this beautiful song from the 1990s called You Are My All in All. I recently came across a recording of this by the Gaithers, and they combined a famous classical piece, Pachelbel Canon, with You Are My All in All, and I thought it was so beautiful that I wanted to do a cover of it. I really wanted to do it because it really combined my two loves, classical music as well as gospel music. And so I thought I'd give you all a little behind the scenes of my life. I grew up in a very, very small town, actually outside of the town in the middle of nowhere, called Plum Coulee, Manitoba. And my parents still live in the same house and grew up playing music there. I started at the age of 3. My mom took me to lessons. She was actually a music teacher, so she saw that I had a talent at a very young age, and she drove me, if you can imagine, an hour and a half each way to lessons, sometimes 3 to 4 times a week. So it was because she did this incredible investment of time that I can now do what I love. And I'm so, so thankful. And my dad, he is still a farmer. He's 82 years old, still farms full time. And it's my favorite thing to go back home and visit and just love being at home. But I grew up on the hymns, and I grew up listening to my mom playing hymns, singing hymns. My dad sang in a male quartet. He conducted church choir. They led the singing in church, and I played for special music in church, and that was the way I grew up. And so that's how I learned hundreds, if not thousands, of hymns. And it's really my favorite music. But I left home at 17 to go to University of British Columbia for an undergrad in violin, and then I went to the University of Miami to do a master's in music in violin. And so that's where I studied classical music. And so I have a deep love of classical music as well. And so I thought this was so cool that I could combine the two together. And you know, when I was studying at the University of Miami, I went back home one summer and called up my old piano teacher, Lauren Hebert, and I asked him if he wanted to get together, and he said sure. And we were used to playing classical music together, and I said, why don't we play some hymns and improvise? And he said sure. And we ended up playing in church that Sunday and playing these hymns and improvising on them, and people just loved it. And so we decided to go into the recording studio and record our first album. And so I wanted to share that album with you. That first album, way back, that would have been in like 2000 or 2001. That was Take My Hand. So it's all hymn improvisations on piano and violin. I think there's 21 songs on there. Then a few years later, we did another one called Gospel, another 23 hymns, piano and violin. And so it was just so cool that I could be studying in Miami, studying classical music, but then my first album is hymns. It was kind of the perfect way for my career to move into that direction. And once I left university, I started touring, and I toured all around the world and in over 25 countries, and have had some awesome experiences, from playing Carnegie Hall 4 times to the Grand Ole Opry to I was the first violinist ever allowed to play at the Sistine Chapel at the Vatican. So it's been an incredible journey. And just this last summer is when I decided to start doing hymns on YouTube and start this Sunday Hymn Serenade as well as Worship Wednesday, where I play a new hymn and worship song every Sunday and Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern, where people can join me and chat live. And I think it's just amazing how God has brought this all full circle so that I can now honor Him with my music. After going around the world and studying and coming from this small town and just, you know, seeing amazing things around the world, and have had incredible experiences, even playing for some presidents and prime ministers. It's been an incredible journey, but my biggest passion is to do this for the Lord and to bring people back to God and to bring people closer to God through my music. And so I just wanted to share a little bit about me so that you could have a fuller understanding of where I come from and why I love the hymns. And as you all know, my husband Eli Bennett, he records all of my music, and he does an incredible job on our music, and each one of these videos takes, I think, about 10 hours to do. And so I feel so fortunate that we can do this during this pandemic, and we can keep bringing music to you. And him and I also have a duo called Sax and Violin, and we just launched an album on Valentine's Day, actually. And it actually launched number 3 on iTunes in Canada, and it's all love songs on violin and saxophone. And so this is called Can't Help Falling in Love. And Can't Help Falling in Love was actually our wedding song. And it's the song that he proposed with. He actually interrupted one of my bluegrass shows. He came from the back of the hall playing Can't Help Falling in Love with You and got up on stage and proposed in front of the entire audience. So it was crazy. And that video actually went viral. You can check it out. I'll have the link below. And then we ended up having a public wedding in my hometown of Plum Coulee, Manitoba. And 1,500 people showed up, 50,000 people watched on Facebook. And so we shared some of the songs from the wedding. And this is kind of, and there's tons of pictures from the wedding. It's kind of our love story in an album. And as you all know, I have a huge passion to bring back the hymns. And I wrote a song called Bring Back the Hymns. I'll have the link below as well. And that's on this album called Plum Coulee, My Home. This album we actually launched also in the town square of Plum Coulee. My hometown actually put up a sign in my honor saying, Plum Coulee, home of Rosemary Siemens. And I was so honored that I thought I would do an album to honor small town living and all the beautiful things of small towns and how the people are so wonderful. And so this is a bluegrass kind of inspirational country album. And I love this album. It has one of the title songs is called Barefoot N Bling, because honestly, that is me in a song. And we have a music video of that where you can see me in Plum Coulee and see me on my farm. I'll have the link below as well. And one time, one of my pianists, he came to visit me on the farm and he says, now I get you, Rosemary. I says, what? He said, you're barefoot in a sequin gown, driving a pickup truck. I said, that is me. And so we wrote a song about it called Barefoot N Bling. And my song Have a Little Faith is on here. And the song Bring Back the Hymns is on here. And that's all about my just wanting to bring back hymns into churches and just my love of hymns. And I want to do everything I can so that these hymns do not get lost. So if you'd enjoy that, you can check that out. All of these CDs and more are on my website. It's just rosemarysiemens.com/store. I'll have the link below. We have physical copies as well as digital, and I'll sign them for you. We would love to share our music with each and every one of you. So I just wanted to say thank you for your support. I hope you enjoyed kind of getting to know where I come from and a little bit of my story. And, we also have a little baby, I shouldn't forget. He is 19 months now, and he's just an amazing part of our journey. And he's singing nonstop, dancing nonstop, and the cutest thing ever. If you want to check him out, he's Theodore Parker Bennett on Instagram. So check him out. He's just a joy and a blessing to our family. So thank you so much for watching. Again, every Sunday, every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern, join me so we can chat live. I love getting to know you and hearing where you're all from. It's amazing to have this community around the world. And thank you so much for tuning in to Worship Wednesday.